Fine lodgings you have found, my friend. Who is already in negotiations with the guardian spirits of this place. In Baldur's Gate, they are likely to be rat-formed and eager to charge rent. But Boo shall secure safe slumber for all. Now, what do you need of Minsc? Minsc is an open book, with many pretty pictures. Ah, you come in search of stories. It is not yet time to tuck Boo in for the night, but very well. After our adventurings with the Ballspawn, Boo had had his fill of godly flesh. So, we returned to Baldur's Gate for a time. After all, in every city there is a sweaty underbelly, crying out for a virtuous scrubbing. None better to wield a brush than Minsc and Boo. Perhaps we rubbed some villain's rump a little too raw. This Minsc does not know. One moment we stood in the city slums, the next, ambush. Then Minsc and Boo woke on the wide, with stone dust in sensitive places. Aha! Perhaps this is the reason, Boo. It is not because of the legendary thickness of my skull. The mind of Minsc was occupied with important matters. I was browsing a slum vendor's stall, looking for Boo's favorite nuts. And then, I was stoned. For Minsc, those years passed as quick as a hiccup. It was long ago, then, it is now. I do not like these metal men on the streets, or the villains who hide behind them. But the new world is not so different to the old one. The city still clings to the hill. The sea still stretches on forever. And the stench of evil still makes Boo wish for a tiny peg on his nose. As long as that stench remains, no matter how old or young the world is, Minsc and Boo will not rest. You hear that, Boo? Your keen skills of observation have not gone unnoticed. Our friend wishes to consult your wisdom. So small is Boo that he is often mistaken for a pinecone, and many secrets are spoken in his hearing. He will tell what he knows. But Minsc, of course, will translate. Minsc knows her people well. The skin of the world is thin up in Resheman, and it is easier there for things to slip between the planes. Sometimes these are wonders from other worlds. Sometimes warriors, hungry for plunder. Such visitors have inspired the saying among my people. The children of Gith live long and forget the face of death. And so they come to Reshiman to be reminded. They are raiders, so they raid. Minsc's people are berserkers, and so they get a little grumpy at this. It is no bone-deep blood feud, as it is with the Red Wizards of Thay. No, Minsc has no hatred for Githyanki. It is a fine thing to fight against them. And a fine thing to fight beside them too, I think. Besides, the children of Gith alone have witnessed a sight that I have long yearned to behold.
And for a moment, you share in a vision tinged with his awe. Imaginings of the astral sea, an immense horde of wild space hamsters drifting in the endless expanse.
The Githyanki may have Minsc of Reshiman's ire, sometimes healthy servings of his sword. But for this, and this alone, they shall always have his respect. You will grow to like Jahira's incense in time. Like chewing herbs and soap, yes? Minsc is an open book with many pretty pictures. Who is ready with the musings? Ah, well, you have traveled at her side much longer than Minsc and Boo. What is it you feel for her? Oh, praise the three! So, I will speak freely. Of the Drow, I can say only this. She may be treacherous, vicious, and much meaner than she has any need to be, but she is clearly no cleverer than Minsc. She too was duped by the Absolute, and she too seeks vengeance. So long as that is so, Minsc will not judge her. Boo still will, but quietly. Do you come to speak of the last time Minsc stood watch? Minsc is an open book, with many Boo is ready with the musings. I do not wish to speak of the wizard. I could not have said it better myself. He came to me one night with a little book of mischief, full of words and their meanings. Posterior, he says. Can you say posterior? Pah, I refused. Minsc does not need to know the language of wizards. An impossible task. Minsc knows everything that Minsc knows, and Boo knows the rest. Gale would do better to educate himself in the ways of sword and steel than to throw these pointy words at Minsc. Ah, yes. Gale also owns a cat. A cat with wings. That is most unnerving for poor Boo. Never! If he is not careful, Boo will shred his books and use them as bedding. Who is Halsin? Somehow, such a person as you describe has entirely escaped Minsc's notice. How strange. Oh, the tiny, puny elf with leaves in his hair and dirt under his fingernails. His name is Halitosin. How very unfortunate. Pah! Minsc saw the druid chasing himself in circles and sniffing his own butt last night. He has spent too long as a wolf and not enough as a man. No, Boo! The druid did not beat Minsc at the arm wrestling. It was not a fair match, and he turned into an owlbear midway through, and there was grease on the tree stump. What is it, my friend? Minsc is an open book, with many pretty pictures. Who is ready with the musings? Indeed, a berserker after my own heart. Though hers is made of hellish heat, and metal, and some manner of coin-operated device. I do not think so. Minsc has always been Minsc, except for the times he was Stone, or Stone Lord. Just as Karlach has always been Karlach. Even if all her parts were traded for tin and scrap, Minsc thinks this would still be so. And soon, Karlach will still be Karlach. But Karlach will also be cured. Ha! She knows. A warrior always knows. After all, do you not see the wicked gleam of wisdom in Minsc and Boo's own eyes?